What's up, everybody? It's the waitingfornextyear.com podcast. Friday morning, heading into the first Browns game of the season. And we've got the Browns Friday Fumble coming up. That's Dave Sterling and his buddy Dylan. I've already listened to it. It's really funny stuff. I don't want to oversell it because then I'll set your expectations way too high, and then you won't be as impressed as you should be. But I liked it. I liked it very much, and so I hope you enjoy it too. This podcast is brought to you by Audible. Over 180,000 titles at Audible, and you can start a free trial, getting a free audiobook download, have 30 days for free. audibletrial.com/WFNY, audibletrial.com/WFNY. This will be a recurring episode on the Browns, and Dave's got some bits that he's going to do every single week, much like the Cavs playoff run where he was kind of breaking down the fans, and I don't know if roast is the right word, but it'd be kind of fun. It's not going to be like your X's and O's, well, the Browns and their base defense versus the Jets and their base offense. It's not going to be like that. It's definitely going to be a little bit more fun, a little bit funnier than your normal Browns fare. If you want to listen to the X's and O's stuff, you can find that anywhere and everywhere. So hopefully this has a little bit more personality. So anyway, the other news is that we've got a second sponsor. Everybody and their mother is doing one-day fantasy stuff. And so we've got FanDuel on board, and I know not everybody likes this kind of stuff, but if you're into it, you can come on and compete against WFNY people. We'll be posting our little leagues here and there if you want to compete, and if you want to sign up for it, we've set up a URL. It's tinyurl.com/FanDuel WFNY. I'll link that in the notes, so that if you want to sign up and you want to compete against other WFNY people in one-day fantasy or weekly fantasy, it should be kind of fun. Sometimes it's hard to compete on those things with the giant tournaments where there are 20,000, 30,000 people competing at $5 a piece. But if we keep our community small, it'll be a lot more fun. You can have 10-person leagues with 3 winners, and it'll just be something fun to talk about, something fun to do. That's tinyurl.com/FanDuel WFNY, FanDuel WFNY, tinyurl, FanDuel WFNY. And again, I'll have that linked in the notes. Thanks so much for listening this week. We're gearing up for another healthy week of podcasts next week. I've got some guests scheduled. And now, here is the Browns Friday Fumble.
When you're a jet, all the way from your first cigarette to your last dying day. When you're a jet, let them do what they can. You've got brothers around, you're a family man. You're never alone.
It's the Waiting for Next Year Friday Fumble.
Fall on it.
Don't try to pick it up and run. My name is Dave. With me is Dylan.
Hello.
What's up, Dylan?
Hello.
We are coming at you to preview Week 1.
Week uno.
And we've got the Jets on tap. And before we get into that, we're going to give you a little preview of what this podcast is going to be.
It's a fumble.
That's a fumble.
Spoiler alert.
Yeah. Basically, we are going to go every Friday. You are going to get your Browns preview information to get you going and get you ready for this game. Little background. We're both super optimistic.
So Browns fans.
Basically. We are not going to bore you with technical details. We're not going to bore you with cold, harsh realities of the NFL. If you want to hear that, turn on Sports Talk Radio at any time. We're going to keep it light. We're going to keep it fun. And we're going to talk Browns. And in this case, we're going to talk Jets.
Yeah. Well, unfortunately, we're going to talk the Jets.
Now, I don't have a lot to say about the Jets, I think mostly because I misunderstood and thought we were playing the Winnipeg Jets for a lot of this. So a lot of the research I did is kind of out the window.
A lot more fodder to talk about when we talk about our northern relations.
Yes, but it turns out it's just New York. We'll get to some of their shortcomings later.
Which, there's a couple.
They have a lot of shortcomings, really. But first, we've got a little bit of Browns news to cover. Again,
right.
We're going to keep it light and as cheerful as we can, because a lot of times Browns news isn't very fun when like 911 calls are involved and stuff like that.
There's plenty of that, and there's plenty of other media outlets covering that.
Yeah, we're going to handle the fun stuff, which unfortunately, even one of our fun ones,
little depressing.
So we all opened Twitter this afternoon, and we discovered that Terrelle Pryor had been cut so we could sign a running back who's going to be injured for another few weeks.
Not only that, but we have some questions about this transaction as well.
Number one, I thought Ray Farmer was suspended.
Right?
Active
suspension already.
And he's already texting somebody down there, which if he didn't learn his goddamn lesson.
Who is doing the texting?
Or do you think Ray Farmer read the news and like, they did what? God damn it.
Yeah. That's I mean.
He's just like, oh man, I knew I should have put a password on my computer.
It's like he's a manager of a rock band. Just one that's uncontrollable.
They threw the TV out the window.
Yeah.
Oh no. I really wanted that guy. Why did they cut him?
Oh,
no.
He's so mad at us now.
Oh, Jimmy Haslam is sitting in Ray Farmer's office going,
He's got a Comic Sans letter ready to go.
Well, see, that's
on the website.
That's the thing, is I thought at first, okay, they're going to cut Terrelle Pryor and say, listen, we want you. We're having some roster log jams right now. By week 3, trust me, we're going to have some injuries.
We're going to have some space, yeah.
We're going to clear up a few spots.
Well, Jordan Cameron's gone, so.
That's true. So come on back. Stick around. I wouldn't, move or anything. Stick around. Stay close. Keep, doing sprints and stretches and stuff. And we'll bring you back. And then the first quote you get out of Terrelle Pryor, if this is really not just a long con, he says, "Oh, they made a huge mistake."
Yeah.
And it's like, great. So he's pissed off, or he's pulling the ultimate smokescreen.
The ultimate smokescreen, even deeper than the LeBron Dan Gilbert falling out.
Yes, which I've yet to prove, but it kind of worked out, didn't it?
I know.
Wake up, sheeple. Now,
Cleveland Browns sports conspiracies.
And the biggest problem with all of this is, even though Cleveland is not Columbus, everyone in Cleveland pretty much watched the Buckeyes game on Monday.
Come on. Seriously, guys? If you go to First Energy Stadium, you're going to ask yourself where you are a couple times.
You're going to see some Buckeye jerseys for reasons unknown.
Am I in Pittsburgh? Am I in the Horseshoe?
I want to say that everybody in Cleveland pretty much watched Braxton Miller, Buckeye quarterback turned receiver, just electrify everyone with his athleticism, his playmaking. He made the transition seem easy, and everybody went, hey, man, we've got a former Buckeye quarterback who's transitioned to wide receiver. Mm-hmm. Let's do this.
And look, if nothing else, there's a great ESPN storyline here, guys.
Oh, yeah.
A great
quarterback/wide receiver school.
However, we do know how those ESPN storylines turn out.
Yeah, that's true. Especially Cleveland-related ones. But
yeah, exactly.
But so yeah, we were all excited about that, and then they pull the rug from under us. But that happens sometimes.
How did he make the 53-man?
That is my question too. And without getting too depressed, that is like, how did a week ago, was he literally number 53?
Yeah. Literally, quite literally.
He was maybe 52 if you count Terrence West. Because he also, how did he make the 53?
That's my baby boy.
Yeah.
Yeah.
He's on my fantasy team, but we'll get to that later.
We'll get to that.
So that leads us into pretty much the movement, which I'm almost behind.
Me too.
To fail for Cardale.
Yeah.
I am fine with rule breaking, law breaking.
Of course. So is our management.
Yeah, so if we can just do that and make that happen and have it be one of those things where the Browns are like disgraced or something, like in quotes, like the Patriots, but then there are no actual consequences,
Right.
I'll take a disgracing if there's no real consequence.
Yeah, so the Patriots cheat, win a Super Bowl, and have the bargaining power to just basically have
Make
no
it all go
consequences.
away. No consequence.
Yeah.
Not even the equipment manager got fired.
The Browns cheat. We lose our GM for 4 weeks.
And then we've got a mystery guy pulling the strings down in Berea.
And our owner was facing jail time.
Our owner barely escaped federal prison.
Oh, man.
Like in the New England case, the equipment manager, even if he didn't do it on purpose, shouldn't have he been punished for just failure to do his job?
Right.
I don't care who
Right,
knew. Suspend
right.
that guy.
Right.
Well, who's going to sew the names on the jerseys?
Or give him a pay cut.
Something. So anyway, that's I think all the Browns news we can tackle.
There we go.
This week. Now we need to get into our adversary this week, the very vaunted and dull and boring New York Jets, making the Browns-Jets matchup the worst game of the week by far.
The worst. Absolutely the worst. I don't even think they simulated Madden
No.
with this one.
I don't even think CBS sent people.
That's
this.
a good question.
And whoever did get sent to this is like Solomon Walcott is pissed.
On his way out.
Ian Eagle was going to get it. He threatened to quit,
Yeah.
and so they gave it to somebody else. Not a premier matchup in the NFL.
Not one bit. Not one bit.
Now, I do want to. You found
Just
this.
to insert. Yeah. Are you leading me in here?
Yeah, you found this fact out about what a nickname for the Jets is, and I want to get into it.
Yeah. So, a pet name for the Jets. A pet name for the Jets. Apparently, they are referred to as Gang Green. Gang space Green.
So their jerseys have green in them. That's true.
Yes, one of their primary colors is green.
I guess you could call them a gang of men.
Yeah, I mean, New York
Gangs, but gangs certainly don't have a great connotation.
No.
Except for a pretty popular New York gang called the Jets. So maybe it does make more sense than we're giving it credit for.
So, but I think what stood out the most was gangrene.
Yeah, that's not a great condition.
If you are suffering from gangrene, what they do is they amputate said limb.
That's the gangrene is literally like the worst case scenario of some
Worst case
things.
scenario. And they'd rather chop that arm off
Yeah.
rather than allow the gangrene to affect the rest of your body because
It's
it
going
will
to
kill
take
you.
yeah. And never does a doctor come in and not be sad when telling you there's gangrene.
We cannot be the first people to have stumbled upon this.
Just because it sounds like a different word doesn't mean you have to use that.
Just because.
Like we don't say, "Oh yeah, it's a brownout," because times when some of a neighborhood doesn't have power isn't a good thing.
Nobody's really elated when they fall prey to a brownout or gangrene.
Or gangrene. Nobody's happy about it.
And on a relative scale, I'd say that gangrene really takes the cake. So, the vaunted New York Jets, or the gangrene of the NFL,
They
right,
were spreading.
are coming into Cleveland, or rather, we're going to them.
Yeah, we're taking.
We're taking Cleveland to them.
We're bringing us to them. Again, I hate to do this because I've already told you about one mistake I did in research. I did a lot of research about Rex Ryan.
That's
And you know what?
Understandable.
I found out he's not even their coach anymore.
But the real question remains, though, Dave.
Yes.
Who is?
Again, I'm going to tell you that a number of times tonight, the search New York Jets coach has been made on Google. What do we find out? I don't even remember.
Some guy that worked in Arizona that was pretty good down there. Coordinator of some sort.
I honestly can't even remember who it is.
Bowles?
Bowles. Oh, isn't
Bowden?
it Todd?
Todd.
Hi, I'm Todd. So Todd Bowles.
Not Bowles.
Not Bowles, but Bowles.
Terry?
What's his philosophy other than I'm coaching the Jets?
I mean, we jest, right? We jest. But I'd never heard that name prior
this
to
isn't
this evening.
This isn't a bit. Like 5 minutes ago, and when we just said those things 10 seconds ago, we knew it was Todd Bowles. But that's only because 10 minutes ago we Googled it to find out that it was Todd Bowles.
Informed us
Yeah.
of who Todd Bowles was.
The biggest thing I'm worried about now is Google is going to think that I'm interested in the Jets and it's going to start sending me alerts about the Jets.
Oh, man. Remarketing dollars.
There is one thing I know about Todd Bowles.
Go ahead.
There is a new rule of no punching the quarterback in the locker room. That's the only philosophy I know, is he's anti-quarterback punching.
He's got a zero-tolerance policy on punching your quarterback
He
in
got
the
up in
face.
front of the team in training camp, said, listen, guys, I know you've heard some different things, but I'm just going to lay it out for you right now.
Some of you may be confused.
You punch my quarterback, I will cut you from the team.
Cut. Zero tolerance.
There will be no meeting. You're just cut. So don't punch the quarterback. End of story.
So listen to me. I have to say that I sympathize a little bit.
With the guy who got cut or the guy who punched
Geno
him?
Smith. That dude drives me insane. He drives me absolutely batty. Looking at him. I can't even look at him. Even not having a swole jaw, he looks like a fool. And that's my unfiltered opinion.
You're getting it raw.
Not only that, he's not a very good quarterback, guys.
No.
He's not.
No, he isn't.
He had so much potential.
Maybe he had made some strides,
you know who
but then he got punched in the face.
You know who is experts in quarterbacks that show a lot of potential? Cleveland Browns fans. And let me tell you, Geno Smith is not your future quarterback. I'm just telling you that right now.
Yeah, he's the guy that's supposed to hold the whole locker room together, not provoke a man to punching.
Not hold his jaw after the locker room falls apart.
Ouch.
So a little bit about Todd Bowles here. Cleveland Browns secondary and nickel package coach between 2001 and 2003, and then he coached the entire secondary in 2004.
So he got a promotion, and then run out of town with whatever coaching staff got run out of town. And landed in Arizona, probably with Bruce Arians, maybe?
No, it looks like he...
I don't know.
No, went to the Cowboys after that.
Oh, fair enough. Hey,
and here's the best part. He came to us from the New York Jets, the gangrene.
Wow. He's really got a circular career. It sounds like that once you go to the Jets, if you don't cut off the gangrene, you end up back there.
Well,
it spreads.
Once you're a Jet.
You're a Jet
till the end.
From your first quarterback punch. So, I think we've covered the coach as much as we really need to.
Yeah, let's not ever talk about him again. Can we not?
I want to get into the roster of the Jets a little bit. I think the biggest thing you're going to need to contend with, especially for the Browns with our receiving core, is you're going to need to deal with Revis Island, Cromartie Island, Screen Island, Walls Island, McDougal Island, and Williams Island. That's an archipelago of cornerback islands.
Wow. Archipelago. You forgot about Rikers Island in there?
I'd also like to say that the close second to the island joke was that we're about to watch an episode of Revis and Busthead. Come to Busthead.
That's a deep cut.
That's a deep cut.
A deep cut. So for all of you that are paying attention,
that's a thinker for you.
53-man roster. So let's talk about the roster of the New York Jets.
Yeah.
Here's a hot take from me. During one of my 3 fantasy drafts is I kept seeing these recognizable player names coming up, and I would think to myself, man, I would have drafted him, maybe 2-3 years ago.
Yeah.
Maybe even last year. I looked at their 2014 numbers, had they not been playing with the Jets.
Right.
But then immediately when I saw NYJ next to their name, not drafting them ever.
Right.
They're not going in my queue. I'm not even Eric Deckers. We're getting down to the bottom of the barrel, and Eric Deckers is available. There's no way I'm laying a finger on this dude.
Yeah, I thought the same thing when I was looking. I'm like, did Yahoo somehow put the 2010 NFL player package on for this year's draft? Because I swear I saw Chris Ivory.
Yeah, Chris
as
Ivory,
a running back.
Cromartie. Yeah, we're just going to name a couple here that stand out. Obviously, Eric Decker.
You know what? I'm going to say that the Jets roster is the all. Oh, they're still playing.
Yeah.
Team.
Yes.
After kind of looking at it, I think that's all I've got to say about the actual players on the team.
Here's the thing. The Jets roster is terrible. And this is coming from Browns fans.
Yeah, our roster's terrible too, but this one's just as terrible. Like, this should be, competition-wise, a good matchup because both rosters are terrible. Fun to watch? Not at all. I doubt it will be fun to watch. But, we'll get to the prediction section later.
At least we have a defense.
That's true. Again, we're optimistic. They're not going to score any points, but we'll get to that. We covered the big problem with the fans of the Jets. Well, one of them, this gangrene thing.
The gangrene.
We covered that. Don't they have that fireman guy?
They do.
That's just like, hey, I'm a fireman and I'm here. And for a while, we all cared about that. No offense to any firemen out there. But, okay, so you're a fireman who comes to a football game? I think a lot of firemen go to a lot of football games. Pretty sure.
I know a couple.
Yeah, me too.
I know a couple Cleveland firefighters.
So the only other really notable Jets fan I can think of is Kevin Arnold from the Wonder Years. Always wore a New York Jets jacket. So in addition to the fireman guy, you got Ray Romano, Adam Sandler, Kevin James. Those are your Jets fans. I think we could have picked that before we did a Google search,
I know.
To be honest with you.
That is like, what is this, the cast of grown-ups? The cast of grown-ups basically is the Jets
The
fans.
cast of grown-ups plus Kevin Arnold from the Wonder Years.
Plus Kevin Arnold and Fireman Ed. And a little tidbit here about Fireman Ed. Charges were dropped in a case where he got in an altercation during a Monday Night Football preseason game.
Oh, good.
In 2010 against the Giants.
Yeah, all right.
That's all you need to know about Fireman Ed.
He doesn't just fight fires. He also fights other men. Well, I think we've covered the fans. And now it is the time that you've all been waiting for. The Manziel Watch. Okay,
What's the
Dylan,
prediction?
what's your prediction? When does Manziel come into the game?
Okay. We all know that it's happening.
It's happening.
Manziel comes in late in the second. Give him a little confidence right before halftime so that he can then go and pump up the running game in the second half.
I disagree.
Okay.
I think we're going to see him early. I think we're going to see him in a couple of Wildcat packages. We're going to, get a few things down on film, give the coaches a little something to think about.
Yeah.
We got Brew on this. All of a sudden, you got Manziel to deal with.
I'll tell you who Todd Bowles is not planning on.
Oh, he's sitting up nights hoping that Manziel isn't in that game.
That he doesn't have to see Mr. Manziel.
Yeah. So, I agree. It's going to happen. I'm saying earlier than later. But I do agree with you in the sense that he will be full-time quarterback, late second, early third.
Late second, early third.
Just mark it down.
That wraps up Manziel Watch for week 1.
Okay, the next thing we're going to do for this episode is I want to first give you a little bit of insight into why we're doing this segment. We're going to do a little insight into Dave's fantasy team.
Now, there's history here.
The history is, for all those, you know what, essentially let's start out with the fact that 2 years ago I legitimately tried to draft a fantasy football team, put it into practice, and win games.
Yes.
And I came in last place.
As a witness, he absolutely put forth a valiant effort, even though he still had a lot of Cleveland Browns on that fantasy team.
Last place. Last year, I did the same thing. I drafted a decent team.
Yeah.
Halfway through the season, I realized I was still bad at it. Started scouring the waiver wire, changed my team name to the Cleveland Browns, and picked up all the Cleveland Browns players I could.
This was week 3, guys. Let's not bandy words.
I saw the writing on the wall.
So what I actually requested when we were laying this out is that we check in this year with Dave's fantasy team and roster and just see how things are going on a weekly basis. I think one of the good things here is I'll ask Dave some questions right now about his roster, and we'll just
interview me. Come on.
We'll just sort of outline what we're going to be talking about here over the next 14 weeks or so. Hey, I'll give you 16 as a nice guy. Okay, so Dave, how many current Browns players are on your roster and bench?
You say
currently.
Current.
And
that's where we get into a little bit of the rub early on.
When drafted, how many of them were current Browns players? Oh, yeah.
4.
I think the national average, folks, is probably 1/2.
Yeah, I'm saying it's 0.25. Now that Jordan Cameron's gone, it's 0.25.
Isaiah Crowell may have ended up on somebody's flex spot, in 5 out of 10 leagues.
I am going to look here, and it gives you the percentage of players that are starting this particular player this week.
I want to see it.
The highest level for a Browns player that I have, Isaiah Crowell.
Yes.
20%.
20%, folks.
You want to know the percentages on the others?
Yes.
All of them are 0.
0%.
No one else but me.
Browns starting against the New York Jets. Okay, so 4 Browns.
I'm a bit of a homer, okay? I'll admit it.
Now, you don't have that many Browns currently, though, because...
Yeah, unfortunately, Terrence West was traded to the Texans and Terrelle Pryor was cut. So
therefore...
I only have 2 current Browns, and that's fine.
So numbers 52 and 53 on the Browns active roster were on Dave's fantasy team at the start of this season, folks.
That's when you say it like that.
Now, again, Ray Farmer's not manning the helm.
Who knows what's going on?
Who knows
down
what's
there?
going on over there?
Yeah.
Okay, so another question. Who's your starting quarterback?
Peyton Manning.
Peyton. That's,
But the pick that everyone said, I'm playing past history here because basically in our league, it's been if you have Peyton Manning, you win the league.
You win, yep. Actually, last year it was Tom Brady. No. Aaron Rodgers was last year.
Yeah, fine.
Yep. But, okay, I'll give you that. Okay, so I think you brought up to me a problem that you're facing in the running back stable.
My running back stable is not great.
Let's talk about that.
In the last 2 years, the only success I had, last 2 years, great success with DeMarco Murray on the Cowboys.
Mm-hmm.
Come to find out that was it even your auto draft stole him before I could get him? I was going to pick him even though he moved on.
I got in there. Yep.
And your auto draft snagged him.
I love DeMarco.
So I thought, well, I'll go with the Cowboys' next running back, who was Joseph Randle at the time.
Yes.
And then I start reading headlines halfway through the draft that they're saying, well, Darren McFadden's going to be the main carrier. And then, so today I'm getting reports that McFadden's going to start, and then the coach says that Randall's going to start. So pretty much neither one of them is going to do well at all. And that's like bulk of my running back core.
They're going to split whatever success that the Cowboys have. It's going to be split between two running backs of yours. I love this strategy.
It seemed like a good strategy at the time.
I'm gonna love it when we review it next week.
Yeah.
And you just put up record-shattering numbers.
Hey, I got Gronkowski in right now, and he's already got me 19 points. So
there we go,
I can't
folks.
argue about that.
There we go.
All right, I think we've droned on enough. Last segment of the night, we are going to do our predictions. So, Browns, Jets, opener, New Hope, brown jerseys, orange pants.
Orange pants, baby.
Dylan.
Cardiac Kids are going to take it to the Jets, 26-17.
I like where you're going. I like where you're
26.
going. I'm saying Ryan Fitzpatrick has fits with our islands.
Oh, there it is.
Fits. And the Snoopy blimp flying over MetLife Stadium is going to witness the Browns beating the Jets 21-10.
21-10, folks. You heard
21-10 Browns on Sunday.
It here first.
All right, well, we hope you liked the first episode of this show. We're going to do it weekly, unless we get a really lot of negative complaints. I hope not. So if you want to get in touch, you can comment on the episode page at Waiting for Next Year, or hit me up on Twitter. It's at Democo. Do you want to give your Twitter?
Yeah. And
and if you want to hit up Dylan on Twitter, you hit him up at
Dylan B. Price, DYLAN.
There you go. Thank you for listening, and go Browns.
Go Browns.
Did you like it? Did you enjoy it? Thanks so much for listening, everybody. It's been a great week of podcasting. Again, this is brought to you by Audible, audibletrial.com/WFNY, 30-day free trial, 1 audiobook download, audibletrial.com/WFNY. I'm still listening to that Elon Musk book. It's really good. You should check it out. The other thing is, if you want to jump into our FanDuel one-day fantasy league, sign up today, tinyurl.com/FanDuelWFNY. You'll find that link on the page. Thanks again for listening. Hope you enjoyed the Browns Friday Fumble. We'll talk to you next time.